This is going to be a look at some Lamar Jackson plays from the Ravens' Week 4 win over the Browns. You could consider some of this a highlight compilation because Lamar threw the ball exceptionally, on time, on target, with the right amount of touch. And also, he was doing these things against a defense that was in attack mode. At the moment that I'm going to focus on the film here, second quarter basically, the Browns' defense has gotten multiple stops. I think we went 3 and out the first 2 possessions. We did get the early turnover, and then Lamar scores on the next play, which I'll show you here in a moment. But there's a point in the second quarter where the dynamic changes, almost like a combat sports event, a boxing match or MMA fight, where someone lands a big shot middle of the second round and totally changes the dynamic of the fight. Their offense was very poor matched up against our defense. That's obvious. That did impact the game. But our offense went through a stretch of 3 possessions where we just totally shredded their defense. There's no justification for, our offense, our quarterback not being there made our defense play bad in the middle of the second quarter. Our 5th, 6th, 7th possession, I believe our runs over that 3 possession time period was 9 carries for 90 yards, none of which was Lamar. It was Gus, Justice Hill, and Melvin Gordon. I'm going to show you some Lamar film as the first video this week because I think it's warranted. 15 of 19 for 187. There'll be people who focus on the stats because that's all they can focus on. It's all they want. It's surface level analysis, just looking at the stats. If you watch the gameplay, he was on time, on target, and with the right amount of touch. And he's even looking Browns defenders off in 2 of the plays that I think I'll show you tonight. Let's get to the film. Hopefully this is the second iteration of Lamar's AFC North tour. The first one would have been in 2019, where we went on the road and just smashed a bunch of teams. We got 2 wins in the division on the road, and a 3rd game coming up, another opportunity to get a road win. I'll never discount the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's Ravens Steelers. The records don't matter. It's always going to be a tough game. What I love about this concept, and first of all, this is not a read, is we got Gus leading Zay out to the edge. Talked about that a little bit after the Bengals game, I believe, except it was Duve with the 2 sweeps on the last possession against the Bengals. You'll see Zay's little level change fake, which tells you that this is not a read. Andrews is giving his little fake to the D-end and then releasing upfield. D-end does our job for us by rushing upfield. And you can see the kick out by Linderbaum. It isn't a huge block, but Garrett's run himself out of position. Moses on the pull, and Andrews leading the way. Beautiful concept. QB counter, not QB counter read. You get the end zone angle, you'll get a better look at Zay with this little level change fake. He knows he's not getting the ball because it's a call, not a read. Defense out of position. Guys moving in the wrong direction. Taking advantage of that with a counter scheme, gap scheme, where you're down kick. And we got a 7-0 lead. First throw that I don't want to say I didn't like, but I was a little worried about. This ball's in the air a long time. This is 4th possession. It's a comeback to Zay Flowers. And the All-22 confirms for me that this ball is just a little bit late. It's a well-thrown ball, but it's in the air a long time. And I feel like it floats in the final third of the throw. But what I do like is that Lamar did immediately look over here, and then he's still scanning in this side. I think he was taught this week to hold defenders on the backside and then come back to things that he knew would be there. In this case, there is going to be a little bit of separation. Zay puts his foot in the ground. Lamar just hasn't let go of the ball yet, and there's separation created. The DB's able to recover because the ball was in the air so long. I don't like the phrase interceptable passes, but that was the only one where there was any possibility of an interception. Another one, this is on the 5th possession where Lamar looks off. I don't think it necessarily has an impact. He looks to the left, kind of pump fakes a little bit. I think you got a double move by Aguilar down there, very similar to the double move that Demarcus Robinson used against the Bengals for a touchdown. We'll pause it here on this one, and I will show the end zone angle. You can see he's looking over here to the side. He knows that DBs is looking at him. I think you've got a bail cover 3 by the Browns on this one. 4 underneath. What this really creates, if you ask me, is it opens up some separation between the boundary side curl flat defender, number 6, and the boundary side inside linebacker, number 5. We really took advantage of their boundary side coverage I think that their boundary side coverage was very inconsistent and very poor. I don't like to criticize players, but you can look at the plays of in my videos and other Ravens content creators this week, and you can see who's lined up to the boundary, and you can do the addition yourself. You can see Lamar looking to our right, his left on the field, opens up a lot of space between the boundary side inside linebacker, who doesn't expand, I think potentially because Lamar is looking away from him, and then Lamar throws it over the top of him into the lane between the second level defenders, the linebackers, and the DBs, a strike, 12 yards, first down. 7-yard completion, I think, to Zay Flowers here on a 1st and 10 to the boundary. Zay is lined up to the bottom side of the field. Again, I think you've got like either quarter, half, or cover 3, something like that. But I think it's probably quarter, half is my guess, or what a lot of people call cover 6. Lamar is looking to throw the football here, but there's a D lineman who's got his hand up in the air. Lamar's awareness on Sunday seemed to be at a super high level, I thought. He puts the right trajectory on the ball here and throws it sidearm. Zay turns 3 yards into 7 yards. So let you see it one more time, and then we'll get to the 5th possession. It's a bunch empty set where Ricard looks like he's going to help out, and then we motion the running back into the backfield, bring Aguilar out as the backside X. No OBJ, no Bateman, so Aguilar was playing a lot more X on Sunday. Lamar sees the field, the zone developing, just goes underneath to Flowers. These are the routes I think we need to throw more. Zay turns 3 into 7, like I said, but keeping the defense honest, making them commit underneath. All right, we ran this concept, I think, 4 or 5 times, and the exchange and everything between Lamar and the running back was perfect on all of them, except for this one. A fumble from under center is always on the quarterback if you don't get the ball into the running back's gut. This has nothing to do with the play whatsoever. This is on Lamar, for my money, because our quarterbacks drilled the running back taking the wrong path and deciding what to do in terms of you don't release the football when you're not there. You don't toss the football from 1.5 feet away or 2.5 feet away. So for my money, this is on Lamar. You may have a different opinion. No problem. Very disappointing moment for Ravens fans because that was the 5th possession where we're on the move. But it didn't matter because the next 2 possessions, Todd Monken and Lamar just went scorched earth on this Browns defense. This is an amazing play by Lamar to Andrews across his body. You can see the play fake to Gus, and we've got someone flashing in Lamar's face. No panic. Complete awareness. Reminds me of like a martial artist who's got complete calm in the middle of a ring or an octagon with thousands of people there cheering on and millions watching around the world. Beautiful play. There aren't many quarterbacks, for my money, that make that play. When you have someone in your face so close and he has the calm to get the ball off, 36-yard gain. I mean, great job by our guys hustling downfield. Andrews making people miss. Mark Andrews looked like Mark Andrews to me. I love this formation. We've got 2 receivers stacked, Ricard in the slot, the running back on that side, and then Andrews down here to the downside. I would love to see what we develop more out of this formation. It's a difficult one to classify. You get a little bit of movement by the inside linebackers. Number 5 comes to get Lamar. They do end up laying a shot on Lamar, but it doesn't matter. 36 yards, and we are off and running. I mentioned this in a reaction video. Whether you think it was Lamar's fault or whose fault it was on the fumble or not, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's for our money, what we were taught and what our kids was taught is always the quarterback's fault. But Monken comes back to the same concept. I still don't think it looks totally clean, but we execute it. There's the jet to Zay, and these guys are blocking the jet. They're getting out here on the perimeter, leaving these dudes unblocked. So the jet is coming from under center. The give to Zay or Duve, and then Lamar giving it back to Justice Hill away from that. So it's jet dive, jet here, and then dive opposite. Kind of classic stuff, wing T type stuff, if you ask me, except it's zone blocking scheme. Wonderful job by our guys on the right-hand side of the offensive line. Let you see it one more time. 15 yards. I mean, there's no way that as a Browns fan or Browns supporter you can say that what's happening on the field in this film I'm showing you right now has anything to do with their offense. By the way, Lamar capped that with another short touchdown run that I don't need to show you because we've seen a bunch of them this year. 7th possession, insane level of accuracy and display of touch. Shocking that we tried to pick the running back on a wheel. Some of you guys know we talked about that in the stream last week, or stream preview, excuse me, on Saturday. I don't think it's a great pick. Aguilar kind of Statue of Liberty stands here, and then you got the wheel by Gordon attacking a particular defender, which I thought they attacked in the past game 4 or 5 times to great success. Macari, on this instance, has ran or allowed Garrett to run upfield. Lamar, again, no fear, no anxiety, complete awareness, getting rid of the football. The touch on this thing, I think, is the most impressive part of it for me. We've seen him. I mean, for those of you that don't know, like I've probably done 60 Lamar Jackson film studies on my channel. Every Ravens content creator probably has, right? This, for my money, is a unique throw from him because it's a wheel to the running back out of the backfield. I can't remember how many of these we've seen from his time with the Baltimore Ravens, and that's not a reflection on him. It's just a reflection on we didn't run that concept a lot. It was there last week, I thought, to Kenyon Drake on one of the fumbles against the Colts. End zone angle, and you can see we've confirmed that it's man. 6 tries to go with him. Great throw by Lamar. I mean, he's still looking back, and he looks back a second time, doesn't know that Gordon's caught the football. We clearly went after him in coverage. There's a reason why in previous years they've taken him out of the game on passing downs. All right, this is to Zay Flowers, and it's as unbelievable as the throw was to Andrews, and then that one to Gordon, which was a short throw, so there'll be people who would discount it. You've got a free rushing defender in Lamar's face across the field, 43-yard strike, which we don't get from this all-22 view. I think it's the DN from the top side, 91, is going to end up being free, meaning he's taking on Falele. Gus tries to chip him. Falele gets lost in the sauce, and then the D end is free. Lamar just acts like he's a tree and just steps around him. It's a beautiful throw, 43 yards. Like I said, we are off and running here. All the concepts are working. Not very next play, excuse me. 2 plays later, this is to Aguilar at the bottom side. I love this route. I love that. How many times do you remember the Ravens throwing routes like this down in the end zone? Zay setting up, possibly a China in. It's an incomplete pass, but this throw is perfectly placed to Aguilar to give him. He's got confidence in Aguilar. He's got confidence in Andrews. He's got confidence in Zay. We didn't even have OBJ and Bateman there, and he went after guys on the Browns defense, and they're still a very good defense. Don't get me wrong. If you're a Browns fan, you listen this long, first of all, thank you. Second of all, it's a fact. Lamar went out there and attacked them with the pass and was extremely efficient on all concepts. 3rd and 6 from the 7. This is beautiful, man. Or maybe 3rd and 5. Fading back, there is some pressure developing in front of his face. Statistically, this is not one of the greatest games in Lamar's career. From overall passing standpoint, yards, only threw 2 touchdowns. But this is how we can win football games. Matter of fact, this is how we do win football games. Playing great defense at times. Lamar making the plays we need him to. And some of you don't like that we took our foot off the gas pedal in the second half. That's fine. There's no problem with that. It clearly worked out in our favor on this occasion. But there's been times when it did not. Fading away, putting it up to Andrews like an alley-oop. I don't know if you've ever thrown an alley-oop in your life. I've never caught one, but I've thrown plenty. There's certain dudes, when you throw an alley-oop to them, it doesn't matter where you throw it. They're going to go get it. There ain't too many of those guys, all right? But then most guys, you got to put it in a certain spot. Are they a 2-hand dunker? Are they a right-hand dunker? Are they a left-hand dunker? This is one that I think Lamar puts in the perfect spot. Not that Andrews is a guy you got to put it in one spot, but look at the challenge and the traffic that's there. Lamar I did a video 2 years ago, 25 throws from Lamar Jackson, maybe 3 years ago at this point, prior to the 2021 season, when we opened the year on the road in Vegas against the Raiders. And I showed some throws that I thought was his best. This may be his best. I think this one puts us up 21-3 right before the half and really just shocks everybody in the stadium. At this point, we're putting on a show against what was, the best defense in football coming into this game. They're still incredibly talented, don't get me wrong. And they can cause problems up front. Well coached, they play fast. But we have a guy and playmakers who can do stuff like this on the road. That's an amazing asset, and it's amazing confidence that Lamar has. Reflect on the throw before that. He made a similar throw to Nelson Aguilar from the standpoint of down in the end zone, trusting that guy to go get the football. The only complaint that some of us who've watched a lot of Lamar film have ever been able to make over the years is we wish that he would trust other guys instead of just Mark Andrews. You add Zay Flowers to the mix, clearly he trusts him. OBJ, clearly he trusts him. Yeah, we want to see more targets to Rashad Bateman if and when he returns. It looks to me like Lamar is in, people talk about him being able to change plays, adjust things, whatever. That is absolutely an element to note and talk about and study and pay attention to. To me, it's his lack of fear or worry when there's defenders near him and the pocket is moving or shifting or collapsing in some cases, and his ability to make the throws. Think about the criticism before this week about Lamar. Doesn't play well against pressure. Even some Ravens fans talked about it. The numbers aren't great against pressure, but here you have a perfect illustration of Lamar making pinpoint accurate throws against pressure on the road. Second AFC North road win of 2023. And in a weird schedule to start the year, we've now got to make our third divisional road trip, this one at the Steelers. It seems like we're looking at the beginning of a run by Lamar, similar to what we've seen before. Different style offense, different approach offensively, and maybe even different expectations. And what I mean by that is when we were under Greg Roman in 2019 and we ran the football a lot, it was consistent. Each drive would produce rushing yards, 2 or 3 first downs. We may have to punt, but we would win the field position battle. And the next time we got the ball, we'd be closer to the end zone than the possession before. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. I would liken that to a baseball hitter who gets a lot of singles and some doubles and walks a lot. You're getting on base a lot. This team looks like, this is just a thought, and then I'll leave you with this. This team looks like a hitter who doesn't get a ton of singles, but hits a lot of doubles and home runs, and a lot of those home runs are 3-run home runs. And maybe you show up to the ballpark 3 days in a row, and he goes 1 for 4 with a 3-run homer, 1 for 4 with a 2-run homer, and then the third day he goes, 2 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs. My point, or the comparison I'm trying to make is maybe what we saw against the Browns, where we had 7 3-and-outs and 3 incredible drives. I guess a fourth one. Lamar throws another touchdown pass to Andrews later that I'm not going to show. Maybe we're just that type of offense, because that's what we've kind of been at times so far this season. A team that goes streaky for 2 or 3 possessions, or 2 possessions out of 3, and then we're not as consistent. We're installing a new offense still. Lamar seems really acclimated to me, especially if you look at the film from yesterday. I watched every offensive play from Sunday, and other than the slight criticism I would make about the floater out there to Zay being a little bit late, there's no complaint about anything he did in the pass game whatsoever. Everything's on target, everything's on time, and everything has the right amount of touch. Let me know what you think of the video, the way I broke down the plays. Support all Ravens content creators, because I'll be honest, it was a rough week last week for all of us. And so go out there and watch film, videos and film from Sip to Tally, Edgar Allan, EA, Cole Jackson, Huddle Up Films, everyone who creates content, to try to support them and help them get their views up this week, and myself too. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy the content, please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.